In our first story, the Deputy Minister of Education in charge of secondary education, JoyNews, is asking senior high schools to remain open throughout this weekend to give students who are yet to register in their posted schools the opportunity to do so. Hundreds of parents and prospective first-year students remain stranded at the premises of the ministry amidst fears they may miss out on government's proposed free SHS policy, which is expected to start on Monday. Mr. Educhum, who addressed a press conference, says funds for the free SHS program would be wired to every school by today. My colleague Justice Beidou was there for JoyNews and has sent through this report.
This was an impromptu press conference, prompted by the confusion that has arisen since the release of placement for senior high schools this academic year. Deputy Education Minister JoyNews trying hard to calm tempers.
There were about 156,000 students who did not get placement and who were going through our self-placement portal. Out of the 156,000, as of this morning, 110,000 have selected their own schools. That represents about 70,000. The day is still young. We are monitoring. At this point, what we are encouraging headmasters to do is that they should make sure their schools are open today, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday for parents to go through the registration process.
But outside, the chaos continues. Prospective first-year students and their parents yet to know their fate. Some have been here for days. For thousands of pupils across the country like the ones here, there is now uncertainty even after many assurances for calm from government. This was supposed to be a process that would take them into a high school education that is expected to be free. But it looks as though now, having studied so much to get a grade, they have to work even harder just to be placed in a school. Take 16-year-old Lydia Amponsa, for example, who is spending her third day here at the ministry.
The school that they gave me, Central Region, is a day school. So yesterday, my mother and I went there. When we went, the building is like uncompleted, and there's a river like beside the school, and there's no room for rent. Clay room, clay. Then they used to like build the house, and I can't go there. So I told my parents to bring me here so that we can change the school. Even my grades were changing. At first, when I went and checked, it was 19. Later on, changed to 27. Now 39. When we went and printed 39. What am I saying that 39 to? My parents have suffered and sent me to school. Am I saying that 39 to? If they did not help me, then that free SHS, then they should let our parents pay the school fees. If they paid, it's more better than what they are doing.
Or Ama Afabia, whose daughter got posted to the school for the deaf, even though she has no hearing impairment at all.
It's
sad when this happens to you, when your child can speak and yet is posted into a school for the deaf. Even my husband is angry.
Schools are supposed to resume on Monday. It might take a miracle to get everyone over the line before then. There is excitement and high hopes over government's free SHS program, but there are also fears. Fears that the glitches that this first stage of the process has seen may well be an indication of many challenges that will come up as government kickstarts this ambitious program. Justice Beidou, JoyNews.
Owners of broken down vehicles will now pay for the cost of towing themselves after the service has been provided. And that's the latest government decision after it scrapped the controversial mandatory towing levy. Government has, as a result, directed the towing companies to register with the Transport Ministry so they could begin work. Senior Minister Yao Safumafo announced the latest decision at a meeting with towing companies. He says the police would also be equipped to help keep the roads safe.
Invent a wheel. Many countries have
practiced systems that take care of broken down vehicles. Is it true or false? True. So why can't Ghana learn from good practices elsewhere? So, madam, in your consultation, let's learn from good practices elsewhere. The little I know, this is a private sector product all over the world. You don't get the government in Germany anywhere getting involved by law on this. I've never come across any. So let us learn from other people and let us learn from good practices elsewhere. I'm happy about what the police have told us, that they will patrol and they will take the necessary steps. We are talking about interim measures. I think we will ask the police to continue, and if they need additional support in the interim, we are going to put in some support for them to get beefed up in terms of material so that we minimize the carnage arising out of disabled vehicles. We're going to do that as a part of government responsibility. But do a wider consultation and don't invent a wheel.
But the road towing companies are kicking against the idea. Yawopoko is one of them.
Yes, I do have concerns about it because when you tow somebody's vehicle and at the end of the day you don't get paid, that is work done for not, you don't get paid for the work that you've done, but meanwhile you incur cost running the operation, as in like towing vehicles off the... But I believe that this whole idea is to save lives. Is to save the lives of innocent people that run into broken down vehicles or accident vehicles that are left on the roads.
Then why do you appear uncomfortable with it?
Well, it's a capital intensive business. And if you run a business, definitely you need to make profits instead of just saving lives. Imagine I'm moving my vehicle from Techiman to Kintampo to go and take off an accident vehicle. And then after I take off the accident vehicle, the driver or the owner refuses to pay for my services. Now, when it becomes mandatory or it becomes automatic or the law enforces the owner of the vehicle to pay for the services rendered, then I think it is much more appropriate and it will help save more lives.
Kofi Capito of the Consumer Protection Agency, however, insists the pay-as-you-go toll scheme is the best for Ghana.
Other people are doing it and they are getting paid. Even the assemblies are doing it. It's just a matter of, looking at it. How did they do it the last time? Like somebody said, he towed the vehicle, took it to the police station. When he went back, the police has released the vehicle to the owner without any redress to his cost towing the vehicle. We cannot do things like that. Where these things has actually worked well, the moment the vehicle breaks down, you call a police officer, or a police officer will come by if you don't have a tow truck or a number yourself. In other jurisdictions, either you have your own towing company or you belong to a club which you can call and they'll provide you with the towing services. It's all at a cost. There's nothing free. The only challenge for most Ghanaians was the fact that we were going to be paying upfront. I don't think Ghanaians are against towing and also paying for it. If your vehicle is towed, you should pay for it. And that is why Ghanaians are saying that, yes.
But the towing companies are not convinced that if we...
You see, if you're doing any business, okay, you should do your feasibility studies. We should see how you are going to recoup your money. Like I'm saying, other people have been in the business for a very long time. 24-hour towing. They've been in the business since the early 2000s. They are still operating. They have managed even to get a contract with Accra Metropolitan Assembly.
The National Peace Council has started a process to facilitate the resolution of some chieftaincy conflicts in the central region. The chiefs are being taken through conflict resolution and mediation to help reduce the many chieftaincy conflicts that the Regional House of Chiefs is saddled with. At the workshop organized for the chiefs and queen mothers in the region by the National Peace Council, the Dean for the Institute for Development Studies at the University of Cape Coast, Professor Stephen Kendie, said it is better to make the chiefs understand the negative impact their conflict were causing their communities so they could depart from them. Richard Kujonyako was at the training workshop and has come through with this report.
The issue of chieftaincy conflicts was one of the key points the president of the Central Regional House of Chiefs drew the president's attention on when the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, toured the Central Region recently. The National Peace Council's effort is to offer a helping hand to the chiefs to understand what conflict is, the impact of the conflict to society and to development, and ultimately to mediate their own issues and resolve them amicably. The Central Region is one of the regions in the country that has a lot of unresolved chieftaincy conflicts. The impact of the conflict is said to be impeding development and in some cases heightening tensions in some of the traditional areas. Currently, there are 32 chieftaincy conflicts in the region waiting to be resolved. Thus, the Dean of the Institute for Development Studies at the University of Cape Coast, Professor Stephen Kendie, says is appalling, but the wrongs can be corrected by the chiefs themselves.
This is why we focus on mediation as a strategy for resolving chieftaincy conflicts and other related conflicts in our traditional areas. As we all know, conflict is a daily activity, it's a fact of life, it's part of our daily existence. It is only when, however, conflict is allowed to escalate into violence that it becomes a problem. And this is what we want to prevent, so that when we're able to train the TAs and all other interested stakeholders, this is what the National Peace Council stands for, we'll be achieving a situation in this country where people understand what conflict is, what the causes of conflict are, and how to prevent conflict through mediation and other strategies.
The Central Regional Rep of the National Peace Council, Nanamba Eyaba, says the Council's effort at making the chiefs realize the impact of conflict will ultimately yield positive results and thereby reduce the number of chieftaincy disputes in the region.
It may arise out of conflicts. So it's good that Nananum understand what conflict is, what it takes, the causes, and then what these conflicts come about with, or come with. So that's why the Peace Council found it prudent to organize the workshop for Nananum.
Vice President of the National House of Chiefs indicated that when the Regional House of Chiefs is given a lawyer as requested, most of the cases would be disposed of.
We are having a lot of cases, which leads to conflict. But our problem in the region is that we don't have counsel. So we have a lot of cases lying down there because we don't have a lawyer. There's nothing we can do. So what we've been doing just to calm down the conflict. Sometimes ADR system, non arbitration will call both parties and then talk. When they take it, fine. If they refuse to take it, there's nothing we can do. So we are just appealing that government gives us a lawyer, the Central Regional House of Chiefs, so they can take up our cases. Or they'll be lying down there and then every now and then we add on, which is not the best.
Richard Kwejo-Nyako, JoyNews, Cape Coast.
And before we go, the Deputy Minister for Information, Kwadwo Apong-Kroma, is counting on Ghanaians to honor their obligations to the state by paying their taxes and guarding the public purse in order to benefit from government-rich policies. According to him, if people who do not pay their taxes are to pay their taxes, the amount of revenue paid by Ghanaians would be reduced to lessen the burden on the taxpayer. Well, Kwadwo Apong-Kroma was explaining government's policies that are seen south at the town hall meeting. Richard Kwejo-Nyako was there and has filed the following report.
The town hall meeting, the maiden one organized under the auspices of the Ministry of Local Government, was to explain the policies of government to the people and allow the people to ask their duty bearers questions about the governance processes, policies and programs of government they don't understand. After explaining issues like the free senior high school policy, planting for food and jobs, and government one constituency $1 million, Deputy Information Minister Kwadwo Apong-Kroma asked the people to be their neighbor's keeper and ensure that people that would outweigh the system by not paying their taxes are made to do so. To him, this will ensure that government executes all its programs and policies as their people would expect.
What we are also asking of the people, first of all, is to contribute their quota. All all that we are trying to do can only be done with government revenue. This year, for example, we are hoping to increase or grow government revenue by some 33%. That means that people have to pay more than they were paying in previous years. So people who were not paying would have to be brought into the bracket. And so our first appeal is that everybody pays his share. When everybody's paying his share, we can even lower the thresholds across and reduce taxes, because now everybody is paying his share, and that's our first request of the people. The second request of the people, which I put forward, is to ask people to be more forthcoming, with their ideas, their feedback, to continue to be citizens, as the president asked us, and to be not just spectators, people on the sidelines and saying they want to work or it has challenges, but to contribute their ideas to improving the process. And the third request I have made is for them to continue praying and supporting and pushing the government of Ghana to do more.
Member of Parliament for Asin South, Reverend John Intim Fodjo, who rendered the stewardship of his 8-month stay in Parliament, assured the people he would serve them in truth and diligence, as he promised them before the elections.
We sought to use the opportunity to give accounts, render account to the good people of Asin South on the pertinent developmental issues that has been on their hearts, for which they gave us the mandate. Even though earlier on in the year, the Ministry of Roads and Highways had put out for adverts the reshaping of 6 of our very important networks, which had been executed, and we are grateful. We feel that we need to step further and to have an upgrade of our existing roads into bituminous surface to ensure that we can have lasting and efficient roads to enhance our transportation and our commerce and even our farming activities. So those are the challenges that we reminded ourselves with, and they shared ideas. Very important ideas. They drew our attention to the fact that we also have to look at the apprenticeship, hairdressing machines, and then sewing machines that I had acquired. I immediately accepted to channel it into that apprenticeship, suggestion that came up. I thought it was laudable that we actually helped a lot more of our youth who might not have the passion to climb the ladder of academics to be assisted.
The National Communications Authority is relaxing one of its regulations that requires mobile phone companies to send their high-speed internet signals over a specific frequency. The initiative will make it possible for the companies to send their 3G internet services a lot further, so that subscribers who currently have no internet or experience poor internet speed will see a marked improvement. The NCA says the initiative is part of government's commitment to use ICT as a vehicle to bring development to rural areas. Nancy Emefajiradosi has more.
Statistics on mobile phone subscribers show that at 36 million mobile phone subscriptions, there are more mobile phones in Ghana than people. The statistics, however, show not as many people have access to internet services on their mobile devices. But with the world going through a data revolution, communities without access are most likely going to be left behind. Acting Director General of the National Communications Authority, Joe Anoche, however, says government is keen on roping in as many Ghanaians as possible in the data revolution.
This band of the spectrum to deploy universal mobile telecommunication services, quote-unquote UMTS, which is a 3G technology in unserved and underserved communities across the country. So primarily what we are doing here is the mobile operators already have licenses for the 900 band. The 900 band primarily for 2G services. Right, 2G primarily gives you good voice, just a little bit of data, but good voice. So this will increase data access to areas which hitherto were not covered by MNOs with 3G services. Okay, so the goal of this whole exercise is to allow communities, rural communities, and underserved, unserved. There are places where you go, there's no data at all. And when this is implemented, the goal is to ensure that all these areas within the republic have what data access.
To ensure the telcos support the government initiative, the NCA says application and authorization fees that they would have paid have been waived. He explained the incentives being rolled out under the initiative.
So instead of doing 3G in the 2100 band, right? You are doing 3G now in where? In the 900, which gives you a lot more propagation capabilities. Therefore, offering 3G in the 900 megahertz band can significantly expand the coverage area of a service, which is pretty much what I've said. This way, areas which were hitherto unserved or underserved may be covered with the use of what? A new frequency. It is also a cost-effective way of providing 3G services to the rural areas from the telco point of view. So in other words, UMTS make it easier for MNOs to expand their data coverage with minimum cost, especially as they can be deployed over a large area at the less cost. They are not going to deploy new mass, right? They're using the existing, but now the technology allows them to be able to reach at the further distances than they are able to do for data services.
The initiative has already been piloted by one of the telcos with impressive results.
And that's it for the latest news headlines. And we'll be doing the newspaper soon, but again, it is your birthday, my good friend and brother, Lawson Jandu. And you work with Kim K Services and Christoph Pharmaceuticals Limited here in Accra. I'm dedicating this song from Kofi Kenata for your birthday, Lawson Jandu. Have a great happy birthday.